lies. It was just
bullshit. What's the difference?
It wasn't lies. It was
just bullshit.
The proper way to say it. No lies, just bullshit. The proper way to say it. No lies, just bullshit. The proper way to say it. No lies, just bullshit. The proper way to say it. No lies, just bullshit.
Who said liar? I said bullshit artist. And what's the difference? Because I don't lie.
Hello and welcome to No Lies Just Bullshit. I'm your host, Nick Swartz. Thank you so much for tuning in to the biggest, baddest, realest, best tattoo podcast on the motherfucking planet. No Lies Just Bullshit. And I'm going to be here for the duration. So, a couple things to go over. First of all, y'all know how we get down. It's AllianceTattooSupply.com. Those guys are good to us and we appreciate them. And so we just, as always, I want to urge you just to support them. That, it's a tattoo-owned company. They work hard and they're always trying to bring better products, better prices. Just watching what Josh and Fred have done with this company since we've gotten involved with them, or they've gotten involved with us rather. It's just inspiring, man. They're doing it. They're working hard. They're going after it, and that's the kind of people we like to be affiliated with. So you can go to AllianceTattooSupply.com. Get everything you need to run your tattoo shop. I'm talking lineage needles, disposables, power supplies, machines, everything you need to run a tattoo shop. You have. There's they have barrier film, they have table drapes, all the goods. And so, just if you're a listener of No Lies Just Bullshit and you've listened to me do this ad for a couple of years now and you haven't checked them out, just go check them out, man. Just go check them out. That's all I ask. You will not be disappointed. The delivery is on time. The website is user-friendly. Everything's just dope. And, I'm stoked to be affiliated with them. So please go check them out at AllianceTattooSupply.com. Of course, I really don't have a whole lot going on this summer. I'll be 48 years old in June. I'm going to probably take a couple days off and kick it then. Other than that, you can find me at Alley Cat Tattoo. I'll be recording podcasts here and there. And, that's about it until Shenandoah Rose. And so Shenandoah Rose is the 25th anniversary of Alley Cat Tattoo. So we slid in the August slot time frame that would typically be Pagoda City Tattoo Fest. We're going to sort of, that was 10 years strong. Shouts to Justin Weatherholtz. And so if you were accustomed to going that, if you went to that regularly, the same time of year, you can take the days off. You can come to Virginia. It's a beautiful place. Harrisonburg is the friendly city. There's a Four Seasons resort close by. There's hiking, there's fishing, there's trails and all that. Come see us. And it's August 7th, 8th, and 9th. Tattooing from 11 to 11 on the 7th and the 8th. And then 11 to 4 on the 9th. We'll have food trucks, we'll be barbecuing, we'll be bullshitting, and it's going to be a party, it's going to be fun. I'm really hoping to attract people who love tattoos as well as tattooers within driving distance or flying distance or whatever it may be. We're going to have a good time, man. And stay tuned to the No Lies Just Bullshit Instagram, the Alley Cat Tattoo Instagram, the Shenandoah Rose Instagram, because we will be, we're going to have tattooers before and after. They're going to either come and hang and kick it and tattoo with the shop before and then hang, or the same, or come for the weekend and then tattoo with the shop afterwards. So be sure and stay tuned to all that. Check out the No Lies Just BS YouTube page. We've been dropping wild shop talks. I've been putting out chronicles and stories and all kinds of fun stuff. Just a bullshit session here and there. So check out that. Go and subscribe and like and do all that stuff. And please follow us everywhere. We're just trying to provide good content. There's a lot of sucker ass shit out there. A lot of motherfuckers complain. So here's my problem with the explore shit on Instagram. There'd be like veteran tattooers complaining. Or it'd be like baby tattooers and people who barely know what the fuck's going on talking about nothing. Just talking about nothing, yo. Don't let nobody talk about your taxes, tell you how to do none of that shit. Talking about just nothing, man. It's just a lot of that. It's just so much. Anyway, I'm gonna chill. But no, that's just bullshit. We the truth, man. We uplift tattooing. We uplift the game. We're only in it for the love. We're fortunate it feeds us, but we in it for the love. And so we're not going to tear it down, and we're not going to talk ill of it. So if you go to No Lies Just BS on YouTube, you're going to hear us talk a ton about the greatness of tattooing, what fulfills us in tattooing, what excites us in tattooing. Myself, Andrew Connor, Chris Porter, these are my dogs. They've been with me for forever, my brothers. And, you know, the Shop Talk is just there to just talk about what makes it dope and nothing else. We never tear it down. So go check that out and subscribe and be good to us. So for the past, I don't know, couple months, I've mentioned this before and aired it out a little bit, but it's just sometimes life gets in the way and my kids are teenagers and blah, blah, blah. I've been doing some greatest hits because I haven't always been able to get a current podcast. So this is a legend in the game. My brother, my dear friend, Timothy Hoyer, and we collected some stories from the different podcasts that he's participated in, that he's been on, different episodes, rather, of No Lies Just Bullshit, and we consolidated them and put them together, and they're here for your listening pleasure. Some of the stories that would have been stretched over 5-6 episodes, they're compiled here, and I've coined the phrase that Timothy Hoyer is your favorite tattooer's favorite tattooer, and it rings true. And whoever your favorite tattooer is, go and ask him, and they'll tell you he's a dog in the game. You know what I'm saying? Just taking him. So anyway, this is a Timothy Hoyer compilation, tribute, salute. You know, Timothy's been so good to me. I met him in, I want to say, 04 maybe. Anyway, the day I met him, I asked him to do my back. And, you know, it's one of the greatest experiences of my life. And, you know, he did my back, Sarah's back, Porter's back, his wife's back, my wife's sleeves, tons of stuff on Jake, Kate's back. Just, you know, he's our hero. He's our brother. He's a regular at Alley Cat Tattoo. You know, he's like on the roster. He's like works at Alley Cat. He's there quarterly. And this is just, you know, a collection of stories and talks from him, and we're just grateful for him. We love him. Here it is, Timothy Hoyer, No Lies Just Bullshit. Tell your mama now.
Hard times coming your way. You don't have to run above us sometime. Organize it like and figure it out. Or you'll go under without a doubt. Hard time, same complete lost into a roll. Hard time, forcing me, I'm going cow. Hard times coming round.
1990. Wow. So, what year did you start tattooing?
I know, right? 1980. I would say 1988.
Yeah.
That was the beginning of it was in Lawrence, Kansas, a little bit, but I mean that kind of hardly counted. That was just making marks on.
Is that your hometown, or is that close to your hometown?
Yeah, I grew up in Lawrence, Kansas. I lived there until I moved to New York, and that's. Like it all kind of, like everybody else, it all kind of came out of punk rock at the beginning. Came out of going to shows, hardcore shows, and seeing bands and stuff. And Lawrence, Kansas is this college town, and it's sort of situated right in the middle of the country. And there was this little venue called the Outhouse. It was basically just a I know, right? It was literally this little concrete building in the middle of a cornfield, and you would drive outside of Lawrence on this gravel road through the corn and get to this little driveway, and then there's this big parking lot, and there's the Outhouse. And they would have like hardcore shows and punk rock shows there and stuff. But the cool thing about that place was that because of where it was located, all the bands from East Coast or West Coast that were going across the country came right through there, because I-70 went right through the middle of Lawrence. And all the bands that were going from north to south would come straight through Lawrence, because I-35 went straight through Kansas City, which is, the next town over.
Sure.
So we would get everybody, like in the 80s, we got everybody that was touring.
So just lay some on me. What were some of the shows you saw there?
Oh, Jesus.
I mean, Cambridge Limited was one of the first ones that you saw.
Yeah, Black Flag, Bad Brains, DK's, DOA, Descendants played there a bunch of times. Cro-Mags. Yeah, I mean,
Because
all of it.
what I was about to say was, I bet life changed when you left Kansas and went to New York. But you're seeing every fucking show that you could have seen
Catching them on the
right
way.
there in fucking
Right.
Kansas. Yeah.
Well, I was talking to somebody. I was talking to Justin, the shop guy at Absolute, about Cro-Mags the other day, because Cro-Mags just played in Richmond. And we went and checked it out. But I think that one of the earliest memories of seeing a tattoo on somebody else that made an impression on me was Harley's chest thing.
Yeah.
Because the Cro-Mags came through with that German metal band Destruction. They were on tour together. Mm-hmm. And Harley had that crazy demon. And I just remember like seeing those guys, and they seemed so like larger than life, and just like they would kick your ass. And they were probably all teenagers at the time.
Sure.
But like, you know, and they had these real thick New York accents, and they seemed just like, my God,
Like
these
aliens.
guys are, where did these guys come from? I have to go there.
Yeah.
It's something so alien to me, because I'd never been out of Lawrence, really. I mean, you know, it's trips to Colorado in the summer for family vacation, but that was about it. So I remember seeing Harley's chest tattoo, and that was the first thing that I was like, well, you know, I have to like learn more about this or be involved.
How many people do you think was influenced by Harley?
By seeing that,
By seeing Harley Flanagan, you know, seeing that big fucking chest tattoo.
Yeah.
You know? I know all of us were.
How old do you think you were when, like 15, 19?
Oh, geez. Yeah, probably, I guess I was probably 15 or so.
So
15 or 16, something like that.
So you said Lawrence is close to Kansas City, right?
Yeah.
What size-wise, what's the difference? How is Lawrence the size of Richmond, size of Harrisonburg?
I think, I want to say at the time there were 20,000 people in Lawrence, not counting the students at Kansas University. So I think it would almost double when the students were in town.
Sure. That's what this town does.
Totally.
Yeah. Yeah. So it might have been kind of similar to Harrisonburg.
So you just said, fuck, I gotta go to New York. I gotta...
Well, I was like, I started kind of just scratching out little stuff on people at the beginning, because I saw these tattoos on people, and I wanted to be involved in this because I was already drawing. I was drawing flyers for shows and like little band stuff for people, and so all my friends that were going to shows were like, "Oh, dude, you should get tattoo stuff and tattoo all of us."
Yeah, because I'm sure you were drawing whatever you were drawing, and then people was like, "Oh, that's cool."
Jackets and group tape and everything.
Yeah.
So I didn't know anything, but one of the things I did know was that you're not supposed to just buy tattoo shit and start tattooing all your friends. You're supposed to.
You're smarter than most.
Right. If you're not a scumbag, you're supposed to go to a tattoo shop and get an apprenticeship, and they teach you the right way to do this, so you're not wrecking people's existence.
Right.
Yeah. So I went into there were a few tattoo shops in Kansas City, and I visited all of them, and like promptly got thrown out pretty much of every one. You know, just asking, how do I become a
Sure.
Oh, yeah.
You know, so they weren't interested in that whatsoever. The only foot in the door I got, which was kind of cool, was Grimm's tattoo, which was Wes Grimm.
Wow.
And I brought in like this little crucifix thing that I drew and showed it to him, and he liked it for whatever reason. And he offered me a paid apprenticeship, which I think was like $5,000.
Woo!
And he was cool to me. He was like, "This is good. Like what you drew is good. You know, I can if you want to do this, I can show you how to do it. It'd be this much money." And I was, you know, I didn't have $5,000.
Sure.
Did you think, how the fuck am I get $5,000, or you just think that's not an option?
Well, it just wasn't. I mean, I was, you know, I wasn't even old
I
enough
never
to get a
fucking
tattoo.
seen $5,000 till I was fucking 30-some years old. You know what I'm saying? I never
he might
seen.
as well have said 10 million.
Yeah, it could have been exact same shit.
Yeah, so that was off the table. So eventually, after I exhausted all these possibilities, and I just had this burning desire to just dive into this shit and see, just be in it, you know, good or not, just wanted to be in it. So I ordered some tattoo stuff out of the back of one of those biker magazines. There was an ad, S&W Tattooing.
Oh, no shit.
In Long
Stanley
Island.
Walter.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Which, I later learned it was Stanley and Walter Moskowitz. But, they sold tattoo supplies, and they had this little, like, Xerox catalog with a yellow cover that they would send you in the mail. And you could order, you know, machines, ink, power supply, the whole thing. And they had, I think it was the last page in the catalog was, they had, like, the full setup for how to be a money-making professional tattooer.
Just the package deal.
Yeah, the package
awesome.
deal, right. And it was, like a couple of machines, a power supply, and a
Couple
couple
sheets
of
of
needles.
flash.
Yeah, a couple sheets of flash. And 4 gloves. So you get, you're all
Yeah.
4 gloves. And so it came, and I had seen tattoos being done maybe like 3 or 4 times. Like had gone with people.
Just sat in shops.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was the extent of my tattoo knowledge
Yeah.
when I started
so trying to
tattooing.
figure out a setup. with
Yeah,
that,
so
having
imagine
that little bit of
what are the rubber
information.
bands for? Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
who knows?
Packaging, right?
Yeah.
This is it was all a mystery, and obviously this is like way before internet.
Yeah.
There was nothing. I think about the only book that was around was the Huck Spaulding Tattooing A to Z.
Oh yeah,
book.
that's what I started with for sure.
So, is from your travels, did you go from San Francisco to your move, San Francisco to Richmond? Is that the next
yes.
town you worked at?
Yeah, San Francisco to Richmond.
So, bring me up to there's Primal Urge gets a little magazine coverage, and you guys picking up. You've been there for a couple of years. Were you visiting Richmond on your road trips?
Yeah, actually, I would go when I was at the beginning of San Francisco, when I wasn't making jack shit for money. I would go back to Kansas and tattoo at shops now.
Yeah.
And I actually tattooed at Grimm's, which is pretty funny.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, like a friend of mine was working there, and he was super super cool, and I would like work out of his house at Kitsu sometimes, and also work out at Grimm's.
Yeah.
Yeah, like. I think it was one of the times I was in Bill's house. For some reason, Jeff Eden and Bo were there, and like, I think that must have been where I first met them, or I can't. That was probably the first time, I think.
Yeah.
From what I remember, I think that was the first time. And they were from Richmond, and Jeff Eden was kind of a big deal at that point. Like he was working for Crazy Ace, and he was, going to conventions, and Crazy Ace was promoting and was like, look at what this guy's doing and stuff.
Yeah.
So I knew of Jeff already. I had seen his
That's
tattoos.
awesome.
Yeah, and I think he had a couple things in magazines and stuff too. So he was around.
Yeah.
We were aware of him, and so yeah, I met Jeff and Bo, and then I went out to Richmond and visited those guys and worked a little bit at the first version of Absolute Art that I saw myself. It was on the same floor it is now, but it was just the front half of the building. Dave
Yeah.
probably talked about all this stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so it was like that was the first Absolute Art. So I went there and worked, and met Jason and Jeff and Bo, and just hung out with those guys a little bit. And then it turned out that they were trying to take the shop and move it one floor up.
Uh-huh.
So I was kind of looking to open a shop at this point, but I didn't want to do it in San Francisco because there were so many shops, and I didn't want to like piss anybody off or whatever. So we traveled around the country, and Richmond ended up being the best spot because they were trying to open the shop on the second floor, so I could step into a new shop that was in the same building as a tattoo shop had already been for all this time, same phone number, but it was a brand new shop, and there were guys already working there.
Yeah.
And I had people that were going to get tattooed right off the bat, so it was kind of a no-brainer. And Jason was the nicest guy in the world, so I was
Yeah.
like, well, I can
Still
be
is.
partners with this guy. for
Still a
sure.
sweetheart.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he's amazing.
Fuck. It's just
Yeah,
it's just crazy, man. New York, San
You got to
Francisco,
get him on here.
Richmond. Yeah. I'm gonna get fucking Hobby on here. So, Absolute Art
Second floor.
moves upstairs, and you take over downstairs, or are you just going
No,
with
the
them?
whole shop moves
All right,
upstairs. Yeah.
And you're up there.
Right.
So, who else working there at that time?
That was Jeff
Yeah.
Eden, Jason Hobby, Jason Campfield. I don't think he was. He might have been there right in the beginning. I can't remember. Dave probably knows. He was there like pretty quick. Jason Campfield was, and then
Bo was piercing, right?
Bo was piercing, holding down the piercing.
I have one of those business cards from that time period.
You do?
I totally do.
Yeah.
But-
So then, that was when I moved to Richmond to open the shop. Like we're here now. This is we're gonna do this. I had met Chris O'Donnell right in the beginning. He was working at this other side. I'm sure Dave talked about this too. I'm gonna cover a lot of Dave.
Well, no, I
But
don't
he probably
know.
remembers better. Because he remembers all that stuff.
I think Dave started with O'Donnell being with you. So anyway, how'd you meet Chris?
I guess he was working at Creative Designs, but he would come over and hang out at Absolute Art all the time, and he was incredibly talented. That was one of the first things that was said to me when I got to Richmond. They were like, "You got to check out this kid. Like, he's crazy good."
Yeah.
And he was around a lot. So he was hanging out. He's super nice, like the sweetest person you ever met in your life, and he was like really, really ambitious and really like wanted to learn and figure stuff out and like the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And wanted to experiment and make it his own thing.
Yeah, exactly. And I have no idea what he was using for equipment. This is like his first couple of years, I think, but he was already doing real clean, solid tattoos. I mean, they were drawn goofy because they were,
That's that era.
Yeah, because that's the time it was.
Yeah.
So, everything was drawn goofy.
Sure.
But you could look at him and you could be like, okay, this is absolutely going somewhere.
Yeah.
Without a doubt. Like you could tell he was something special
Step above,
immediately. Yeah. Even like
It may have been an eighth of an inch outline, but it was clean.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. They were all clean. There wasn't technically there wasn't a bad one. It was kind of crazy to watch. And
that's kind of his thing, huh?
Yeah, I mean, I would watch him work. Like he came to work at Absolute Art pretty much right away. He went. I think he went with me and Billy Eason to a convention in Atlanta. He rode down with us, and
I can't even imagine you and
I know,
Billy
right?
traveling together in the same fucking
Billy,
car.
Me and Billy and Chris, that was a good one. And
Just different worlds.
I know, right?
Fucking shit. How did it happen? That's an episode itself, motherfucker. So this time, me, Billy, and Chris O'Donnell get in the car to drive to Atlanta.
Right.
I can only imagine how that must have gone. All right, come on, you fucking pickle smoochers, get in here.
Anyway.
Yeah, he was totally cool on that trip from what I remember. I mean, he drove us down there.
Me, yeah.
He paid for hotel rooms.
Yeah.
I was tattooing out of this little booth, and he was kind of there, just
Hanging out.
Yeah, just hanging out.
Keeping shit together.
Yeah, and Chris went along and he hung out. He didn't tattoo, but he hung out with me the whole weekend, and we just talked and got to know each other and stuff. And then I think when we got back from that trip, he pretty much just started working at Absolute Art.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so he was there basically from the beginning.
I've heard that story from him when he was talking about tattooing one of the guys from Vale or whatever, and
yeah,
kind of having that door,
right.
Kind of open up a little bit because of that.
Yeah,
which is fantastic too. But.
So, what was your knowledge of Japanese tattooing at that point?
Less than zero.
You just seen pictures, but
I didn't I started getting interested, but I had no grasp of why these things were this way. The idea is that these things all came from stories, that there was a lot of specific things that were a certain way. This was a really cultural thing.
Yeah.
These aren't just random images. These are very cultural things, and that was the cool impact of going to Japan, because I you see where it all comes from.
Mm-hmm.
And she got her back started in the Studio One, which is the apartment studio that she had. He had 3 studios when we were there, but I think that was the original one. That was just apartment studio.
I think I've seen photographs.
You'd never. It's the same thing as some of those other hidden places. You would never know is there. It's just an apartment.
I've heard stuff to find.
Yeah.
Even if you know what you're looking for and you have the address and stuff to find.
Right. So I think a couple of her sittings were at the other place, but most of them were at that place. And that place was like this one kind of small room, but it was packed to the gills with you name it, these bookcases full of portfolios that had the names on the spines of all the greatest tattooers that ever lived. And he had this whole binder full of postcards that all these people had sent him for, decades and decades that he should
That
have
wasn't even a museum either.
Yeah,
and it's
and
still fun. His
it
mail's still
was-
full every day.
Yeah, it was just crazy to see like the cultural context and then lineage of where that stuff all came from, like how
Yeah.
long he'd been in it, and he's not doing a different thing like this year than he was doing 3 years ago. It doesn't change. It's like the look changes slightly, but he's doing all these things as a tradition that is like completely connected to the culture that he lives in and grows up in. That was the first time I saw that tattooing could be something that big.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it could
Life.
be that connected
A whole
to
life.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it could be your
Yeah.
whole life.
Yeah. Whole fucking life.
Yeah, it was crazy, and like I was really nervous about, because I hadn't met him before. I was really nervous about going over there, but he couldn't have been nicer.
Yeah.
Like he let me take tons of photos, like anything. There was an Eddie Deutsch portfolio that was one of the oldest, like the early ones, and I would pull it out every day and look at it and be like, oh man, that's way before cell phone cameras when you could take a little sneaky spy shot.
Yeah.
So like, I was just like, I have to document this somehow.
Yeah.
I can't just leave this here. So like, I was
just leave this
the
to where
whole
it is.
time I was trying to get my courage up to ask him. And one of the last days, I said, "Excuse me, sir, do you mind? Do you mind if I, photograph the
Part of
He's
your
like,
life's
"Oh,
collection."
Yeah, take it.
Yeah.
So I went outside and took like photos of the portfolio. But yeah, he was like completely accommodating.
That's awesome.
But that had a big impact on the direction of your tattooing at that time, right?
Yeah.
Because when we first met, you were like, I'm gonna start doing more stuff in that vein. I'm gonna start doing more Japanese stuff and building a portfolio of stuff that looks kind of like this stuff.
But I mean, you'd already gotten completely savvy at utilizing large scale spaces and doing large, like, figurative kind of stuff. And so to just simply switch deities or switch main subject matter, like that was kind of changing the vibe, but not necessarily changing your activities. Like you were still going home and drawing constantly. You're just changing a little.
But there's
little tweak on it.
also like this is just, I'm speculating from the outside, but you talked about the freedom in San Francisco and how everyone was just, you could do whatever the fuck you wanted. But once you decide you want to start doing some Japanese, you have to hone that. You have to reel it in a little bit, right?
Yeah.
You have to say, if I want it to be respectable looking Japanese, then there has to be a layout. There has to be a formula. And I have to respect that, right?
Well, yeah, that was the first time I'd been exposed to that because the Japanese I had mostly seen was when I was in San Francisco. So I was seeing what Ed and Eddie Deutsch were doing for the most part, as far as like big Japanese tattoos.
Right.
And those were, Ed had a huge pedigree in going, to Japan and working with those artists and stuff and bringing that style to the West. And he had like this kind of hyperactive on steroids version of the Japanese look that was like the Americanized thing where there was like, it was looser, there was a lot of liberties taken with the correctness of this and that, but it was more about the look and just giving it this real high energy, super powerful, impactful look on the body that looked like the traditional Japanese stuff, but had like this extra Western thing thrown in.
Yeah.
So that's what I had pretty much seen. I thought that was what Japanese. I mean, I saw stuff in Tattoo Time, like the Tattoo Club of Japan, and all those really old bodysuits and stuff. But I hadn't seen any of that stuff in person, like ever. So that's what I thought Japanese was. And then when I saw the people in person, and because like we would go to the Horiyoshi studio early and wait around because we knew like we could at least see the person before us who worked on, and the person
Smart,
after
man.
us.
Yeah.
Like, we got 2 people at least, because it was very regimented as far as.
And he's working on.
Yeah.
He's not working on that many American tattooers. He's working on.
A few here and there, but like a lot of just old Japanese customers.
Yeah,
I'm sure he's
getting
had for a long
suits.
time. Yeah.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
That's what you want to see, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We saw some crazy stuff that he was working on at the same time that she was getting worked on, and that was like the impact of that. It's kind of hard to describe what it was like seeing that stuff for the first time because it was just like so it fit the body so well.
It has a different respect, man.
Yeah.
And to see it in person is
You know,
different, too.
I love tattoos. I love traditional American tattoos and all that stuff. But the stuff that first blew my mind, blew me the fuck away, was just how, you know, Japanese bodysuits looked. How it had a completely different air to it. You know what I mean?
Right.
I love a fucking tough ass crawling panther on the forearm, and I don't mean one that fucking you do now that goes from your wrist to your fucking bicep. I mean just
Right.
the one on your forearm. I love the way that fucking looks. It looks tough as a motherfucker. But when you see a well put together suit, you're just like, man, it's just something to be in awe of. You know what I mean? It's just something to be in awe of. Straight up.
And getting to be there firsthand too, seeing stuff in progress and
Well, that
seeing
was the
like
thing.
how the
Yeah.
old man was laying it out or not laying it out, you know,
Right.
and just going to it because he knew exactly where it was supposed to fucking go because he had studied it enough to do so. That's
Right.
fucking impressive.
And that's where you see what I was talking about tradition and not doing a different thing every year. It was the same thing. It was like small things were added. It was streamlined. I mean, Toriyoshi's tattoos from 20 years before that didn't look like they look now, but the subject matter was basically the same things. It was all from the mythology, from the stories, and these things that have been done by a lot of people for a very, very long time. So when you see somebody be able to like tattoo something straight on, I mean, like the crazy zen of being able to do that, like that kind of
confidence involved.
assurance only comes from decades of like, I would think, right? I mean,
Repetition
that's-
from
yeah.
discipline. Like,
Right.
you have to have the discipline to do it day in and fucking day out.
Right.
And that repetition, you know, gives you the confidence and the muscle memory and the fucking just...
Right.
I'm assuming, you know, what do I know? But
Yeah.
fuck, man.
Yeah.
Well, and that was the evolution because I
body.
was at that point I was like, I'm gonna draw a new thing for every person. Everybody's gonna get an experiment.
Yeah.
You know, like it was all this kind of shit where like I'm trying to break ground all the time. Like that's the goal, and then you
Yeah.
see somebody who is so adept at doing something like a peony that you watch him do it with nothing, and
Yeah.
you're like, he's done this thing that I'm watching like thousands of times.
Yeah.
Thousands of times. Where he's like, I'm like, whoa, what the fuck? And he's like, he doesn't, you know, it's just gonna happen. It's gonna appear. It's already there.
And it
It's already
does.
on you.
And it just happens to be the best peony you've ever seen.
Yeah, yeah. It's yeah.
By coincidence.
It's crazy.
It's just the best fucking one you've ever seen laid
Yeah.
down. You know what I mean? It's just, it's something else, man.
I think
Yeah.
that kind of harkens back to that Japanese painter thing too, though.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because Van Gogh was criticized for painting too fast, and he said, "Have you ever seen Japanese painters? They paint like lightning, you know,
Mhm.
like that idea of you think about it, what you're gonna put, and then you put it there, you know, like no hesitation, no
Yeah.
second thinking, no
Confidence,
second
man.
guessing. Yeah,
It's fucking nuts.
but then then doing it for 35 years or however
Right.
long.
But did that trip instigate your switch in style?
Yeah,
and you know,
absolutely, absolutely.
your tattoos have always looked like your tattoos. And so I don't mean, it's not like you fucking are a different guy, but, and I think that the best thing you can say about a tattooer is their tattoos look like they did it, you know,
Right.
but it definitely changed, it shifted, right? Was that trip the catalyst?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
That was like, that was a huge eye opener in a lot of ways, and I would like the stuff I was doing in Virginia. I was doing this kind of fancy, like rendered art stuff and
For years and years and
figurative
years,
stuff.
I heard your stuff was referred to as painterly.
right.
A lot of people,
right,
that's how they would say to me, that's what Timothy's tattoos look like. Is that what you're referring to?
right. Yeah, and I was like, that was kind of the beginning of me trying to start painting and oil painting and figuring that out, and then like there started to be a little bit of crossover between the tattoos I was doing and the oil painting, and I was trying to kind of make those things mesh, and I did that. Like I played around with that for a while, and I sort of got to the point where I felt like I'm repeating shit, like I can't. You know, I don't think I can keep going on in this direction and get anywhere. I felt like it was like
Yeah.
that was I was kind of at the end of what I could do with that, you know.
Yeah.
And that was also at the time where people started coming in and doing stuff like Stefan Schoedezeg, that was like that that real kind of bold blocky stuff, but it looked painterly. It was like there wasn't an outline. It was like real chunky looking, but it didn't look like an outlined drawing that was colored in. It looked like a painting.
Yeah.
So that was, and right off the bat, I was like, well, he's going to do this way better than I'm going to do it anyway. You know what I mean? Like it's ridiculous to like, you know, continue down this road.
Like that's
Yeah, and I just, you know, so I wasn't like, I knew I kind of wanted to go the other way and simplify and strip stuff down, but I wasn't really sure how to do that, and you know, like I was used to just putting every last little thing into every drawing and like details and all that, so I just didn't know, I had no idea like how to go about it. I went to a convention in New Orleans while I was living in New York the first time. It's probably, if I had to guess, it's probably 1990, 90 or 91. I don't remember whose convention it was, but it was going to be the first time I had ever been in New Orleans. And it was when I was still working at the bakery, like before I was really tattooing all that much.
Holy moly.
And my boss had been there a bunch, and he was like, okay, you need to check out this, this, and this. So I got on a plane and went down there, and I don't think I was, oh, wait a minute. I guess I was like room tattooing, but definitely not booth tattooing. And Marcus Pacheco was there as well.
Oh, man.
So it was me and Marcus's girlfriend at the time, and my friend Kenny, who Will always going to laugh at this because he knows a story about Kenny that I can't. But
inside stuff.
Yeah, but I think Marcus and I ended up tattooing in the room and both working on Kenny at the same time.
Oh, shit.
And I remember, the only thing I really remember, I don't know what I did. I was doing some like horrible like macaroni salad looking buffalo shit. But I remember we had decided we were going to do this two tattooers at the same time thing, and Marcus just was like, hey Kenny, can I tattoo your hand? And Kenny's like, sure. So it was just like a split-second hand decision. I think they did like an eye or something with some biomechanical stuff.
That's crazy.
But I think that's the only time I ever tattooed someone with someone else.
We definitely used to see that once in a while, though. That was definitely early 90s, like,
yeah,
kind of crazy.
Man, I can't remember who the fuck.
Like somebody tattooing somebody.
Yeah.
It's
never a good plan.
It's
Never
killing me,
a good
man.
idea.
But somebody did this fucking podcast. I feel like a jerk. This is my third podcast today. But and they said that whoever they worked for would send them to conventions to see what other people were doing. And two different tattooers on this show, one of them said, so I went to New Orleans and Timothy was there. And one of them said, I went to Pittsburgh to see about this guy Timothy Hoyer that tattoos. Because they said that
Pittsburgh. Okay, yeah.
a convention, Pittsburgh,
Yeah.
a long time ago.
Yeah.
Because they were like, maybe it was Hobby. It had to have been Hobby.
Must have been.
Hobby was talking about how Crazy Ace would send him, to conventions
Right.
to see what the scene was, to see what people were doing, and he I think it was Pittsburgh he mentioned you, but someone else mentioned you in New Orleans, like seeing you at a convention in New Orleans. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, it could have been.
It could have been anybody.
There's 80 of these things, so yeah. But yeah, I remember. I've definitely heard those stories. Steve earlier was talking about how JR was painting a picture of the scene and where he tattooed and where you tattooed and all that shit.
Right.
And Steve was like, "You're gonna do enough of these podcasts where the gaps are gonna start filling in."
For sure,
Right.
and which is awesome to hear
Yeah.
because there's so many of those situations where it's like a small big world, and you're like, "Holy shit!" You used to work for so and so. Well, I used to work at this place, and like, there's all these like cross connections
Yeah.
and mutual friends, and like, it's amazing. I've had a bunch of those this weekend. It's a trip. It's definitely a small big world, and it's all over the fucking place.
Yeah.
It's not just
It is.
Yeah.
This doesn't exactly apply to that, but I want to mention it. I was downstairs earlier in front of the booth, and this guy walked up to me. He was a tattooer in Niagara Falls. He said, "You Nick?" I said, "Yeah." He goes, "Yeah." I shook my hand. He goes, "I love your podcast. It's the shit, and I fucking listen to it all the time." And I said, "Word." And he said, "But I'll watch your cooking videos on Instagram a bunch." and I made you some pasta. My grandmother taught me. And I dried it, and she told me I should put it in a tin. So he gave me this fucking tin of fucking dried pasta he made.
Nice.
Yeah. That's
I'm
all right.
super stoked. Super stoked.
That's not
Absolutely.
something you get every day.
No, that's awesome. That's a treat, man.
So I'm gonna cook that pasta on the Instagram store
Right on.
and big him up. But yeah, that's fucking crazy. Crazy. Who were the regulars that are alive? Like who were your regular? Lehigh.
Leon came a few times.
Jeff Ratcher came.
Jeff Ratcher came a few times. Higgs was pretty regular there for a while.
Yeah.
Like we would see him
Whitehead came
a
as
few
well.
times. Yeah, Jeff came a few times.
Um,
And then we had Grime came for a while. He wrote, like he kind of started writing To Your Autopsy in Richmond. There's some stuff in there about when he stayed in Richmond for a good little piece of time. Who else? Adrian Lee came and worked a little bit later on. Yeah, I mean, like we, especially towards the end, we started getting more people, and people that would come down for a while and stay for a while.
That's awesome. But I mean, you had, best of the best on a regular coming through there, though. I mean, and so many kids, and like so many Richmond kids were getting tattooed with like, oh yeah, so and so was doing a guest spot, and I got this fucking half sleeve, or I got this giant thing on my leg, and you're like, holy shit, dude.
Major tattoos went down the Richmond.
Fuck yeah.
A lot of tattooing went down the Richmond.
Dude, absolutely. When you're seeing, like some kid at the bookstore with a giant, fresh Tim Lehigh tattoo, you're like, what the fuck, man?
Yeah.
How did that happen?
Yeah.
That's rad.
It was cool to
But-
see. You'll still see some of that in Richmond, just on people. You'll see random Jeff Whitehead tattoos
Yeah.
on, just to get you in the grocery store. So
They don't go, they
I
don't
love
go
that.
away.
Yeah.
They
Fuck
don't
no,
go
and
away.
I love
That's the
that.
shit about it. But a lot of people came through Alive. A lot of people came through Absolute Art.
Oh, yeah.
yeah,
I mean, a lot of good tattooing. The George Archers, the Josh Browns, all that fucking fun shit. I gotta give you a new Josh Brown shirt if you did it for me.
oh yeah, I love it.
It's a good
Love it.
It's a goodie.
I just worked on Ethan in Richmond the other day.
He's nice. He's a sweet kid.
Yeah, yeah. I hadn't met him before, or maybe just like a little bit in passing. But yeah, he came and hung out a little bit.
I was
talking
stoked
about
to
Josh
see
and stuff.
how much he was painting and drawing and stuff. Like, he's really stays hard after.
Yeah,
Good dude.
yeah.
Yeah. Good.
We went down there for Josh's birthday. I don't remember how old he was turning, but we went down there just to hang out. It was me and Trevor and Richie, but Tim Forbes was there, and George came, and Tony Riccio and a couple boys from Virginia Beach, and then Josh's woman and the youngins came down, and they had balloons and shit and pizza. And Josh didn't know anyone. Josh knew all the tattoo guys were coming and we were just going to hang out, but then his family showed up. It was a lot of
He's like, oh, man.
That was a lot of fun, man. It was a lot of fun. And he tattooed, man. Josh did a fucking skull and crossbones on this dude's neck, that fucking big, in less than an hour, and it was just drew it and did it, and it was the shit. It was a shit. And then another fella got a big eagle in here, and he same thing. He just drew it and tattooed it, and fucking, it was a shit.
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Do you have
I
Josh
used to
Brown
blow our
tattoos?
minds. I have like a little one on the side of my knee. That was
Yeah.
about the only thing I ever got. And that was like, that was kind of fairly early on. I don't think he was Absolute Art yet. I think
Still
he was
Red
still
Dragon?
a Red Dragon.
When you were tattooing my back, he had a label maker, and he was giving everybody Indian names. And yours, I think yours was Red Rock Wind. I think.
I think that was upgraded, though.
Does that sound right?
I think.
Red Rock Wind?
I think maybe that was it. Was that it?
I think that was yours. And as soon as I came in, he showed me where you were tattooing. He just labeled the shelf, the outside of the shelf. He was like, that's Timothy's name. He's Red Rock Wind. And I was like, it's brilliant. I love all those Sharpie drawings he did.
Oh my
And,
god, that was hilarious.
Fucking one of them. Well, there's all the Brian Bruno faces, but there's another one that I have that's like three pieces of copy paper taped together, and it's just all y'all that were there at the time.
Yeah.
So it was you and Sean Harrington and Jason Hobby and Brian and Keith was the shop guy, and Jason Hobby was in it, and Josh Brown drew himself as Hank Williams Jr.
Yeah.
And fucking Brian's shirt said Metal Devil.
That's right.
Which was my favorite.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
I'd be surprised if that wasn't still hanging up at the shop. I'm sure it is.
I have a copy of it
Yeah.
in my personal collection. It's masterful, and I'll release it with this podcast.
You definitely
Masterful
should.
fucking
You definitely
cartoons
should. That's a good one.
in that space, anyway.
Yeah, there's a bunch of good ones.
There's still little Josh Brown cartoons and stuff about everybody in the shop tucked into little spaces and like on the edges of shelves and like, you know, he's still all over the place in there.
That's awesome. But I think everybody is too, though, because there's a lot of old stuff from everybody that's come through there, I think, which makes that
Yeah.
place so fucking magical.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, there's a fucking Reaper line drawing of yours hanging in there that's fucking crazy.
Oh, that big one with the axe?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that thing is
It's
killer.
framed, I think. It's crazy. The Reaper's like eyebrows are like pointy. I was scared of it. It freaked me out. I was like, oh, that's real. It's evil right there. Y'all know me. I get scared of shit.
That was a back. I did that on somebody.
I remember
It was a back, yeah.
around that time. I mean, that's when, around the time you were tattooing me.
Yeah. This big guy, Kevin, that was like regular. He was a sort of an old friend of Chris's. Or Chris knew him at least before, but yeah, he came and got tattooed a bunch. He was like a landscaping dude and had a Jeff Whitehead forearm sleeve that he got when Jeff came and
awesome.
visited a couple of times, like a couple Oni heads and some wind and stuff.
That's awesome.
I'll tell you one of the coolest things I've encountered on this podcast is Chris Grosso. You know Chris?
Yeah.
He's got a bunch of traditional tattoos from Chris O'Donnell.
Mm-hmm.
And I've never seen a traditional eagle by Chris O'Donnell.
Oh, they're fantastic, man.
Yeah.
Super
So
clean.
when we did his podcast, it was like he was showing me and Steve O. He was showing us these tattoos, all these really kind of classic shit.
Right.
It was so cool, man.
But that's kind of what got him
Yeah,
the
he's
job at
great.
Absolute, though, right? The stuff he did on Bo, and that's super classic.
Chris
Yeah.
Grosso showing us those O'Donnell traditional O'Donnell tattoos. Shit was cool, and I have a Jack Rudy Flash Sacred Heart on my chest done by Eddie Yeary. I don't know if you remember Eddie.
Yeah.
But, every good tattooer I've ever had my shirt off around has been like, who did that heart? And Chris said that about that Chris O'Donnell eagle. It's kind of in a weird position, like above his ditch.
Right.
And he's like, every good tattooer I've ever been around has said, who did that tattoo? That's when you know you got a heater.
Yeah.
When
for sure.
everybody's
For
like,
sure.
that's done right.
That's
you know
the
what
one
I mean?
everybody asks about.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then I've like the big cartel thing. I've been trying to do some little ones for that. You know what I mean? And trying to do some that are just for fun. You know, I've been obsessed with like the Japanese matchbox stuff. So I've been like painting stuff that's like based off of that. Just those are just for fun. So it's like shit that's like just but it's always small.
Sure.
So, but it's nice to do when I can.
I think Tim Lehigh does a lot of that with his store too. He'll sell a lot of little
Little ones,
smaller
quick ones.
stuff,
Yeah.
Yeah, he was saying that he a lot of times when he travels, he'll bring a real small little watercolor block, like those Arches blocks, like a little bitty ones, and just do like almost like rough sketches for paint, like things he wants to do bigger versions of.
Yeah.
But they're finished paintings, and he'll sell those.
Yeah.
because they're cool.
They're cool as fuck.
on their
Yeah,
own.
absolutely.
But it's also him just kind of working the ideas out, and he
Yeah.
works so quick and just he's such a good draftsman that he can just get it down. And in the process, he's making something that somebody will really want to buy.
Absolutely.
So it's like,
Yeah.
It's a really smart way to
He's
do it.
got it dialed in really good.
Oh, yeah.
It's like that good mix of both, you know.
Yeah.
So, but it's like, Anyway, I try to paint when I can. It's nice. I like seeing. It's cool with just people doing so much stuff. It's so awesome,
As far as the vault, like, how
Yeah,
many good
just-
tattooers and all that?
Well, there's that, but then there's like just people doing side work of like art stuff, Especially tattooers that have been around, Timothy and Lehigh and Rasher and fucking all these people that I, Whitehead, like all these people that I like their tattoos, but then they like are doing, they're all older now and they're fucking just doing art. You know what I mean? And that's like kind of, and they can sell it through like big cartels and things like that. So it's like keeping the middleman out a little bit, and they can fucking do their thing. And you know, it's just cool to see. Like, I feel like there's a lot of like side art being made.
Yeah, for sure.
Which
And it's
is
like
awesome.
that's one of the good things about social media is it does give you a way to find an audience for what you want to do. I mean, like that was probably the best thing that I got out of Instagram so far, was like there was stuff that I really wanted to do that was like weird or whatever, that wasn't even necessarily tattoo related. It was like more like surreal or, you know, whatever you want to call it. And I couldn't give that shit away. Like people would look at it and kind of just like, oh, okay, well, I don't know what that is. And then like, you know, through the process of putting that stuff out there a little bit, eventually, like it took a while, it took a few years, but eventually it kind of found, you know, people that
They like it.
Like a more eclectic audience.
Yeah.
That will purchase
Right.
something that's a little off the wall.
Right.
Yeah.
So now I feel like I can justify doing that kind of stuff more, and I feel like I can let loose and go crazy a little more because there are people that'll.
You can do both. You know,
Yeah.
you can like whatever. So it's like it's cool. You know.
Now that you're traveling, do you have? I guess it's more difficult for you to do the giant, fucking crazy, detailed shit
Yeah.
that you were doing in New York.
Yeah, I can only work so. I mean, I guess I could do larger stuff. It would just be a lot more difficult.
Yeah.
I've got a little tiny painting studio in the RV that I can do like normal size stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, like that big giant one that was at my place for so long. That one that Porter.
That
bought.
Porter has.
Yeah, it'd be hard to do something like that.
So, yeah. The last time I recorded with Timothy, I think it was the last time I recorded, I was fucked up, and I had already recorded 2 podcasts that day.
Oh, that's right. It was the third one.
And I said, hey, man, if you could just paint one thing forever, would it be space or dragons? Or something like that. Something of that nature. And he goes, yeah, would it be tigers, space, or Kuan Yin? And he goes, let me come back to that. And he just looked at me like, fucking tighten up, son. Tighten up, son. What are you doing? It was me, him, and Connor at the Hilton on the south side of town. I was lit. I don't know who I recorded with that day, but I had recorded 2 podcasts that day. And with him, and not only that, but when we started recording, I just talked about the other 2 podcasts. It was mad.
Was that in Rochester?
I thought it was in Richmond. Wasn't that? On the south side?
I thought it was in Rochester. But
I think y'all did do one in Rochester, but it was like real late.
Yeah.
It might have been that one.
Can't remember.
I've done it.
Yeah, it was because I was staying at that other hotel and I had to come.
You came over, yeah. I've done fucking 120 of these guys.
I know, it's probably
Hey, congratulations.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thanks.
That's crazy.
It's a lot of beer.
It's awesome. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's kind of amazing.
Man, it's dope.
It's all taken off.
It's opened a lot of doors for me and for Alley Cat, and you 2 guys helped in the beginning just by doing it, and it sort of co-signed to make other people want to do it, you know? So, thank you very much.
Well, I mean, thank you for the co-sign, cool.
but also thank you for the compliment, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, it's cool.
Yeah.
I like to see you doing well with it. It's good.
And it's nice to see, because we've both known you for a long time and known that you are a very interesting storyteller, and you know, it's cool that other people can now, you know,
they can hear it.
I've told some wild shit on here. when at my birthday in June, I got into a crazy argument with my brother-in-law. You know him. You've tattooed him. And I told that story to Rubendahl and O'Donnell, who are we were doing a pod. It was the 2 of them and me and Porter, and you know, those dudes are pretty laid back. And so I told this crazy fucked up story. I was like, fuck you, motherfucker, you ain't my fucking home. You know, all this crazy shit. And then at the end of it, when I was feeling like really justified, Rubendahl goes, don't you think you could have handled that a little bit better?
That's why I love Mike.
Yeah.
And he's fucking right.
He's 100% right.
He's always
100%
fucking right. Yeah.
No, but it has been cool. So you didn't tell me this. I heard this from my crew after you were at the shop last. They said that somebody came up to Timothy at Taki's show and asked you if you knew me.
Oh yeah, somebody dropped your name.
How fucking
Yeah.
I love
Hilarious
it.
is
I
that?
love it.
Yeah,
Do
it
you
was
know
awesome.
Nick?
I was stoked. Like, hey, do you know Nick from No Less Just
I
Bullshit?
think I've heard of him. I'm not sure. Yeah.
I do.
That's
actually.
wild.
Yeah.
That's fucking wild to me. I have a drink that. Okay.
Just hit- I'm good right now. You hit the big time, man. You know?
There's still some rum over there.
A little rum?
Oh, I'm alright.
I got some Dr.
get too
Pepper.
I get too loose, start talking shit. You know?
Talk that shit.
Let's do it.
I feel like you're kind of known for dragons, and I feel like you're kind of known for tigers. Are those your favorite things?
I love tigers.
Or do you not have a really favorite?
I don't really
But just
have
because
a
you're known
super favorite,
for something,
but,
just
yeah.
because something's your strong point doesn't mean it's your favorite, right?
I think it depends.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't see my tigers as my strong point, but I do a lot of them. So, you know, I don't know.
Yeah, I think history. Same thing with you with dragons, right? You got to fuck.
Well, I don't know. Like, I just speaking for myself, I feel like when you've done those things for a while, eventually it kind of gets to a point where it breaks down and it's not the subject anymore. It's just about the shapes. So, like, sometimes you'll draw something and the shapes work out in a really cool, strong way, and
Right.
you just like something happened there that is new,
Yeah.
that's interesting. So it kind of could be anything really if if you're looking at it
If you
from
do
that
it a
standpoint.
lot.
Yeah, it's just all about the shapes.
It's
I mean, that's what
confidence.
Mike Wilson used to say. Like,
Yeah.
because I remember talking to him about like, oh man, you're one of the few people that can make anything look cool. Like, you look at some of the stuff he does, and you actually think about what the idea probably was, and the person
Yeah,
came in
what
and
he
asked for it.
brought,
And, like,
yeah.
that's pretty silly, but he makes it look amazing, and it's
Yep.
just he was like, that's all just shapes at the end of the day. I was like, yeah, you're right. It's kind of all just shapes.
It's Mike Wilson shit.
Yeah.
Where he's like making it sound easy, but it's just
Yeah, I know, right?
My thing about Mike Wilson, and I've said this before, he has the perfect grasp of what's the difference between what a panther looks like and what a tattoo looks like.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
A tattoo of a panther and an actual panther are not the same.
Nope.
No.
And I feel like if you can nail that shit the way he does, you've really pulled some shit off.
It's the
You know?
it's capturing the spirit.
That's what I get excited
Yeah.
about like Scott Sylvia's Eagles or Roses, or like even Christian Lane, like his shit. They teeter like between what it really looks like
Yeah.
and what a tattoo should look like. You know, almost in like the vein of like a circus sideshow banner or something.
Sure.
Like
Yeah.
because sometimes, like if you look at a resting tiger, they're not that gnarly.
No,
They're
yeah.
just casual.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, I feel like
a
Mike
lot of the
Wilson's the
things
king
you
of.
do to make it look cool don't actually happen in nature. A snake
That's
does
my-
not
right.
stick its tongue out when it fucking opens its mouth,
Right.
Right.
but it fucking looks
If
cool.
you chose that,
Right.
yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like it's just capturing the essence of what you're doing.
Yes.
Not doing a fucking portrait of the animal. And some people like Mike Wilson teeters in the middle there where you're like there's some hints of realism
Right. It's
and
not.
some fucking just bold ass traditional shit, you know, or whatever. It doesn't even not even traditional, it's anything he does, but
But he has a grasp on that.
he knows how to capture the essence of whatever it is.
Yeah.
you
And he
know?
retains details real well.
Exactly.
Like, there will always be a few things in there where you're like, oh, he really knows how to draw that.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know, like those few
He'll
things.
hint
Really.
at a fucking shape of a skull, but it's like just the teeth, and you're like
Yeah.
the fucking little line. You know, it's like a 9, and you just dragging. It's not even a solid line, but it's just like fucking perfect. It's just the texture.
Yeah.
One of the best parts about hanging out at Absolute Art is seeing tattoos, live tattoos. And you were working on Christian Beckman's ass and thigh,
Yeah.
and on the back of his knee, and I've said, I repeat myself a lot, he has a fucking Mike Wilson Reaper coming up behind a naked blonde chick.
Yep.
It might be the best tattoo I've ever seen.
It's a great fucking tattoo, and the girl is like maybe just straight skin tone. I don't think it might
way underdone.
It might not even be like any shade, like shading in it,
Right.
or like if it is, it's like super minimal, which
Way
is just.
underdone.
But it looks fucking perfect, and it's the back of his knee. So Mike's like, he's just doing. It has so much. He did more black behind it, and He's fucking smart.
It's one of those things
He's
where I'm
super smart.
looking at a Brian Bruno tattoo that he's doing, and I'm like, wow. And then I look below, and I'm like, oh shit.
Yeah, that's true though.
What about this bonus right
Yeah,
here?
like it's not.
And I go,
the same
what the
level.
fuck? Who the fuck did that? And he like chuckles and goes, fuck you think?
Yeah,
You know?
it ain't hard to tell.
That's one of those tattoos I'll never forget. It's one of those tattoos that taught me something about tattoos, man. It's just powerful.
A lot of those guys down there have that, and it's because they've learned it from Mike. But you know,
Well, that's what I love
Mike
about
Bruce has the
Inksmith,
same thing. You know?
is that it has a point of view. Tattoos that come out of Inksmith look a certain way, and I fucking love that. Man.
Yep.
Jordan's tattoos, I fucking
Jordan's really good.
love
dude.
Jordan's
Yeah.
tattoos.
The whole lot is fucking really good. You know?
Yeah.
You
The
can
dude
usually
who's
tell
been there a
somebody's-
year
Yeah,
is
yeah.
still really fucking good. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like,
Yeah.
they're all fucking, they got a high, bar set, which is awesome.
I love that, man.
Yeah.
I love when tattoos have a point of view.
Mm-hmm.
That's the shit.
And a
That's the
look.
best shit.
They all have a look. And it's Florida. It's because the fucking sun and it dictates what they can and can't do.
Right.
And
It's a white trash fucking skank hole. The whole state.
But, it like makes a look. You know what I mean? And that's why it's fucking, it's just, it is what it is. And you got like the Navy guys. We have a lot of dudes that go to Norfolk,
Right.
that are Navy, and they end up coming to the shop and stuff, and they all have fucking Inksmith tattoos all over them. And you don't even have to ask. You can just be like, I know where you got it.
Yeah.
Even if I don't know exactly who did it, I know where it came from.
Yeah.
So
That's the absolute best.
that's something to be said for
Yeah,
so
for
many
sure.
people that work there.
Because you think about how many tattoo shops there are, and how many of those shops can you say that about? How many shops have a look?
Yeah.
I mean,
Especially when it's
Well,
multiple
a lot of
shops,
times
multiple
whole
people.
shops-
Right.
Like, it's awesome.
A lot of times a shop doesn't have it. Individuals have it.
Yeah,
I can look
yeah,
at your tattoo
yeah.
and tell you did it. I can look at your tattoo
Sure,
and tell you
yeah.
did it. I can look at Connor's tattoo. I can look at Danny Reed's tattoos. I've always felt like Danny Reed's tattoos
He's always
look like
stood
he
out.
did
Yep.
them.
Yeah,
you know
Absolutely.
What I mean?
Yeah.
When did you start drawing heavy? Early on? Or?
Early. I didn't take it seriously or anything.
Well, of
but,
course. Yeah.
But, I wasn't like the kid that was like, I don't know, like that. That was later for me. But, yeah, pretty early. My grandmother had some like drawings I did of shit for her, and her bowling and some bullshit like that.
Like her.
Yeah.
Like
She was in a bowling league.
I can see
real
that.
wild shit
I
like
see
that.
Do you have any family background, like artists or like people that?
Not really. My grandmother was the only real one. She would do cross stitch stuff, but she would draw them. And fucking make them instead of it just being a pattern or whatever.
Right.
So she did all this she would do your house and whatever for people and stuff but all in cross stitch. I have some at my house, but they're pretty cool. But she was the only one that
cool.
did anything that even art related at all. But she was real supportive of it all.
Right.
Did you have that?
Yeah, my pop was an oil painter, not as a profession, but just as a hobby. But it was a pretty strong hobby. Like he would always have a bunch of them going on at once. We every year we would take family vacations from Kansas to Colorado, and it was because it was the next state over. And he would take a ton of slides of mountains and all this stuff, and then he would come back home and paint landscape paintings. But they were kind of like conglomerations of all the slides, like this bush from this one, this tree from that one.
Sure. Yeah, peace.
So a lot of his paintings are combinations of those slides. But yeah, he was always painting, all the time. And
Do you have some of his stuff?
Yeah, I have a bunch of his stuff. There were a ton of paintings left over after he died. He passed away I was like 19 when he passed away. But yeah, I have a bunch of his paintings still, and they're spread all over the place in Kansas and in St. Louis.
Sure.
My mom donated a bunch of them to people, churches and stuff when he passed away.
That shit's cool.
Yeah.
My brother always drew, and my grandmother painted. But I've told this story once, but Josh always drew. When I was a kid, he would draw. We would get not tattoo magazines. We would get metal magazines and shit, and he would draw on me Nikki Sixx tattoos, like whatever
Sick.
he would see. I mean, he drew on me the fucking big ass Guns N' Roses with all the skulls, and the fucking Nikki Sixx had the Black Rose of Death, the fucking spiderweb. You know, my brother would duplicate that shit on me with a pen. I would sit there for a fucking hour. But that was, you know, that was our shit, and that's the shit that we love. My great aunt asked me today if I remember my Uncle Arthur, and my great uncle Arthur Potter had pinup girls tattooed all over him, in a ton of different poses, all naked. And Elizabeth was today. She's 82. She was like, "Do you remember your Uncle Arthur?" I was, absolutely.
Yeah.
She's like, "You ever go in his basement? In his basement, every countertop, every fucking post." Everything was just laminated naked girls. And he had naked girl tattoos all over him. That's some of my first, favorite tattoo memory. Like, shit that I saw early on.
Yeah, that shit's amazing. It makes a lasting impression on you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's wild.
Yeah.
Everybody's
Yeah,
regular
it's
as
just
fuck. And then you see some dude who's got 2 naked girls tattooed on his forearm. You're like,
Right.
what?
Yeah, it's like, you know, you're just like, what's going on with that shit? Right? And that was like punk rock for me. Right? It's like, this is where I want to be. You know? This is the shit I'm into.
Yeah.
And it's just these wild ass dudes. Fucking, and skateboarding was the same. You know, it was the same scene almost, you know?
Right.
So it was...
Skateboarding influenced me, but my brother was more immersed in it than I was. I didn't really... Our existence was so country that seeing my Uncle Arthur was more like, what's up with that?
Yeah.
Then it was like, I never heard punk rock music, man. I really didn't. I heard like metal, Headbangers Ball.
Yeah.
You know, that was been the early 91, 92 would have been Headbangers Ball. I wasn't hearing Black Flag or any punk rock. I never heard punk rock until I moved to Roanoke, straight up. Troy and Adam turned me on to punk rock in the late 90s. I didn't know before that.
I got lucky. It was just like this dude Dan that I used to skate with. He had an older brother, John, and that dude was into it. And so he's like, you know, we hear like the Misfits or some shit, and we're like, what is this?
Right.
And so he's like, oh, fuck. You know, you don't know who this is?
Yeah.
And so then he's like making us mixtapes and shit like that. And
I mean,
it's all like circle jerks and fucking all this stuff. And it was, I mean, it's how it should have been, you know? It was perfect.
I bought the cassette of Legacy of Brutality, but I didn't know the scene.
Sure, yeah.
I bought it because my brother had Thrasher.
Right.
And, you know, like, I would see the t-shirt ads or shit. But I didn't know the scene at all. Like, the rebellious aspect and the sort of, like, non-conformist aspect of punk, I didn't know it as a young person. I knew more hair metal and fucking...
I had some of that, too, but it was like... It really hit, like, you know, middle school and then later in middle school. And then by high school, it was like I was all... I remember going with my English teacher to go see fucking Buzz Oven.
I don't
My fucking, this band Buzz Oven. And so...
Are you familiar with that?
And they're wild
Virginia
motherfuckers.
band,
And so I was just like... I had heard Buzz Oven, but didn't know what I was going into at all. Like, I knew the music. And we went to see them play, and she was like fresh out of college type of teacher, you know. She was cool, and
or else she wouldn't have gone to the Buzz Oven show.
Yeah,
Buzz Oven was gnarly,
dude. I couldn't even drive yet.
Christ.
She drove because I didn't even have my driver's license, so I was like 14 or 15 probably. Right. And I remember going, and you know, the biggest thing I remember is they just had pitchers of Jaeger. They were just drinking full-blown pitchers of Jägermeister. Yeah. But he was just like, he had his guitar hanging real low or whatever.
It's like 93?
I mean, I graduated in 95, so probably 92, maybe, 93, yeah, somewhere in that zone. And so he was like, he's playing, and then he'd just fucking smash himself in the face with it.
Yeah.
And he'd just be like, and he had, you know, long dreads at the time. And there's like dreads with dried blood in them. And you're just like, what the fuck is going on here?
Right.
Like,
or wet blood, so, he's like slinging it.
Oh, dude. Yeah. Wild. And then they played their set. Just got in the van and drove away after drinking pitchers of fucking Jägermeister. And I'm just like, now as an adult, I'm like, what the fuck, dude? It's just crazy, you know?
Yeah.
But I remember that one being like, holy shit. There's like a wilder side to this, you know? And then I've seen there's like a few bands along the way where like everybody's kind of the same thing, and then you see this band and you're like, God damn, like this is fucking crazy as shit, you know?
There's a ton of stories in Roanoke about a band called Luke Puke and the Vomits. And they were, you know, like basically Roanoke's answer to Gigi Allen. Like,
sure, yeah.
Just a dude in a diaper shitting on himself and pouring gasoline on people and going wild.
Yeah.
Wild.
Yeah. Yeah, there was a band at that time, like in Virginia Beach called the Candy Snatchers.
Oh, yeah.
And they were... Yeah. They had like a pretty...
He's like, yeah, I know.
They had a pretty wild vibe going on. And then, I mean, this band Zeke, another band Zeke, this is many years later, but I saw them in Baltimore, and they were just... The dude would finish a beer and then just throw it into the crowd. Like, just like people get smashed in the fucking face with beer bottles, like from the singer and stuff. Yeah. Like, just really, like, taking it to the fucking limit.
When you were tattooing at Reed Street... So you left. What was the
shop name? Gloucester.
Smithfield, Eric.
Well, yeah, Yorktown, Gloucester. It's Gloucester is the town.
You left there. You went to Reed Street.
Yep.
The tattoo scene at Reed Street was strong.
Yeah.
Reed Street was known.
Yeah.
People were coming there getting specific looking tattoos, traditional looking tattoos.
Yeah.
You turned it on its head a little bit, turning the traditional look into like a metal look and like.
Yeah.
Took it into Japanese.
Yeah.
But that was coinciding with the wild music scene in Baltimore at the time, right? I mean, you could see anybody there, right?
Yeah, I saw tons of stuff, yeah. And it was awesome. Like they were all coming through there. And there was like different size venues, so you had like all different fucking, you know, levels of bands and shit like that, so.
I knew you in those days. Yeah. You took me to Crowbar.
Yeah.
One time it was very mild, wasn't much popping. There was some band that I didn't understand, but there weren't that many people there. And then another time you took me to, Seth had a show, took me to. But
Art show?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shanola thing.
Yeah. That was way later. Yeah, totally.
Yeah, but that's the span.
I think I lived in California then. And then
that was between the time we met.
Yeah.
You know, like the time your Baltimore tenure was ended.
Yeah, that was a good time, you know? Like all those dudes up there, the Reed Street guys, and then like some of the other people that they were friends with were just so welcoming and whatever. James Hughes, like all those guys. Great.
You know what the machines that they made? They auctioned off him, James and Dan at Team Victory Tattoo Machines, who Timothy knows. Mm-hmm. And there's this fellow in Florida, Joel Ilch. They made
Joel Ilch. Yeah, totally.
They made
Dan Bailey. You're talking about Dan Bailey.
Yeah. Timothy bid on the machines. They made 2 machines beautifully engraved with NLJBS on them.
Oh, sick!
And auctioned them off.
So cool.
Joel
gave me the money.
Yeah. Cool.
Joel engraved them.
Yeah, super good at that shit.
Dan made the frames, and James made the guts.
Awesome.
James tattooed with him for a week, and Dan tattooed with him for a week.
Super cool.
And then they auctioned those things and gave me the dough.
That's
$850.
Cool. Yeah, hell yeah.
Super dope.
Yeah.
Super dope.
That's, perfect example. Yeah.
Timothy bid on him. Seth bid on him. That was super cool, man.
Yeah.
Wildly humbling.
Yeah.
I was going to ask you about the fine art world because you just mentioned it, and something popped in my head I was just curious about. So, like I said, maybe 2 years ago, you told me Greg Whitehead's been tattooing X number of years. So, short time, and he's a fucking crusher, right? In the fine art world, if it's your name that sets the price and the demand, how do you get your name? Like, are you... Because, you know, I'm not looking... I don't know how to look at fine art on Instagram. I'm sure it's there.
Right. Oh, yeah.
And so I guess if you're in that world, then there's buzz just like there would be about Greg Whitehead when it was the buzz. You know what I mean?
Right.
But, yeah, like how do you fucking get your way in that shit?
I mean, I failed at trying to do that, so I probably don't, I know a fraction of
of that. But I mean, I do know like some of the things that started turning me off about it when I like, because that was one of the reasons I went back to New York in 2007 was to like try to just see if I could make a dent in that world at all, or just see what it was about, because I'd never like pursued that before. And yeah, it's wild. It's like, I mean, I guess I was super naive going into it because I expected it was just art that everybody was passionate about and, was sold to people that loved it to death and couldn't live without it. And then, you start looking at the way it is run really like a stock market on the high end of things, and about like somebody told me a story about someone's show that was going up and that he usually sold a lot of stuff. And I said, does he like usually sell out at the opening? And she's like, oh no, like way before. Like some collector called on the phone and bought the entire show, and then it got shipped to a warehouse. So that's where it is. And like everything was sold. I was like, got shipped to a warehouse? It's like,
And so
this
so
dude
weird.
like probably saw photos of it on the internet, or maybe didn't even. Maybe it was just the dude's name,
Right.
and he was looking for a chance to get something by this guy based on his name. So, like the second that name come up, he might have been yeah. And I mean, we're
It's
talking
like
about people that have like millions and millions of dollars of disposable income that are art, like serious art collectors, and that's what they do is just spend outrageous
So like
amounts
you
of money.
compare it to the stock market, it's almost like storing your wealth somewhere.
Yeah.
It's almost like saying,
Yeah.
I have this collection
Exactly.
by this artist who's
Exactly.
known in that world.
Yeah.
And so I can store that portion of my wealth in this fucking warehouse.
Exactly.
In painting form, in crates probably.
Exactly, and it's almost better than anything financial you have, because art does tend to hold its value very strongly, I think.
Yeah.
If you want to look at it as like a stock market thing, because art objects are, even if their value goes up and down based on, economy or what's going on in the world, like they're still valuable as objects that people want to own.
Sure.
So I mean, that's why I think a lot of the collectors that do just wheel and deal with a lot of it approach it like that. Like it's a good investment. It's gonna,
Commodity,
like,
I can put my money in it.
You can get your money
I can
back
get my
out
money
of it.
back
Yep.
later.
Yeah.
Regardless of the fluctuation over here.
Right.
That's there.
Right.
It's wild.
It's wild.
So I mean, if you think about it like that, as a person that makes art, just for me, like that really grossed me out. I was like, more power to people that can just command such an amount of money for their name because they've gotten to that point. But I was like, I don't have any interest in that. That's like that's like contrary to what I was
Especially
I
putting in
was
as
trying
much
to do.
work
Right.
as you do.
Yeah.
I
I just wanted people to see it. Like I wanted,
Well, I was going to ask
To get out
ask
there
you that.
more.
Like, is it important to you that I don't know if it's important. Do you do take joy in the fact that people are like, oh, this is this very much satisfies my taste. I like this. I don't look at it all the time. Like, and it's yours.
yeah,
Of course.
yeah. That's what it's all about.
That's the shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, sometimes I'm not saying that you see it that you would see it as a cash register, but you make a living that way, and so sometimes when we monetize things, they lose sort of their, like when you get too big at something, then sometimes how you got there or the love of it sort of gets replaced by the necessity of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
So, and I'm not saying that applies to you directly. I'm just saying that it's how you're excited about the fact that your tattooer is excited to do this one particular thing.
Right.
It's the same thing. Like, I want you to be stoked that people are hanging your shit and showing.
Of course.
You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. That makes it that much better that you're proud of it and want it to be viewed.
Yeah, it's like
I kind of rambled on that one a little bit,
Yeah.
but
no, I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
I mean, it's apparent how much time and energy goes into your stuff, especially. Like how much just is involved, even just with fucking lining those things, man. Especially some of those really intricate ones and stuff. Like it's so blatantly obvious. That, it's one thing to look at, and I guess I just never got on board with it. But like a lot of contemporary art stuff in fine art form, where it's just really simplistic kind of shit.
Right.
I could never get into it. I wanted to see something where I'm like, I don't have any idea how this person achieved that, and like to look at, Titian and Caravaggio and Botticelli and stuff like that. Like you see that in it where you're like,
Right.
fuck, I don't know
Absolutely.
how a human being made this.
Yeah.
and especially with rudimentary, like, simple things in order to do so.
Right.
Like, you know, with Botticelli, it's like he's using fucking, you know, egg tempera, which is watercolors,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah,
on a piece
totally.
of fucking either paper or copper or whatever the fuck it happened to be at the time. But, like, you know, to achieve something that doesn't even seem humanly possible.
Yeah.
You know? And so
Yeah.
to look at your paintings is similar in that you see the amount of work that's there. You see, like, how the fuck did he come up with that? And, like, where
You do
did
some
this
wild
idea
shit.
come up?
You-
Yeah.
You do some wild shit.
But I think that, and to get that out there, to put that out, so people see the amount of effort and the amount of years that it's taken to even get to the point where he can create that shit, you know? I think that's important. I think it's important for people to see, like, what it's taken to get there, you know? And to see something that they ain't never fucking seen before. Nobody's done it before, you know? I think that's important.
For both of you all, if I came to you, I say, I want, I want you to do my back. I want a big crane. I come to you, I say, Connor, I want this chick or this skull, whatever it may. I come to you and I go, oh, and then you go, okay, how does that work for me? When you got nobody asking for something, you just put down a piece of board or whatever it's your watercolor paper you're painting on. Beforehand, do you know where you're going? Do you look at it and go, what goes there? Because I've seen you like
goes
cut
both
board
ways.
and then like almost as a process. It would kind of remind me when you tattooed my back and you would grind the sumi every session.
Right.
Like I've seen Connor cut a piece of board and then go through the process of like rubbing down the edges and making sure everything was like kind of, you know, a little
Yeah.
more pliable. And I've seen you like prepare
The ritual, yeah.
It's
Yeah.
very much a ritual, yes. And then there's been times where I say to you, what goes there? And you go, we'll see. And I can tell you've got an idea. There's other times where he says to me, hey, Nick, what goes here? You know?
Right.
And I've given him like something I thought was dope. Or there's other times where I've said to you what goes there, and you're like, I don't know.
Yeah.
All of that.
Yeah. All
of
all
that.
the above.
So sometimes, like when you're cutting that board and you're going through that ritual, you've already got an idea.
Definitely.
Yeah, I bet by that point, yeah.
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 But sometimes not for me. Like if I'm getting ready for a convention or something and I'm like, I have this piece of illustration board or I've got this piece of paper or whatever, and I want to make something that's, for one, going to be fun and enjoyable to do.
Right.
Something that I think would suit that market because different places, they're into different stuff.
Yeah.
So I take that into consideration a little bit too, you know, or something that I haven't done recently because I recycle iconography frequently. I love that. I love the classics. I
Right.
mean, I
Of
can't
course.
paint enough fucking Rock of Ages.
Yeah.
I've painted hundreds of them, and I still
Yeah.
have hundreds more in me that I can do differently or do something better with.
Yeah,
you know?
absolutely. If somebody said to me, you can only paint one thing starting today for the rest of your life, I might pick Rock of Ages. There's so much stuff you can do with
I
that.
mean, yeah, there's
That wasn't even on my list when I asked you. I wasn't even on my fucking list.
some good ones. But like, you know, so all of those things come into play. And so sometimes I'll prepare something in knowing that I want to paint that piece of board or that piece of paper.
Right.
But I don't know what I'm going to go with yet, you know? And then other times when I'm like, what should I do on this? It's me fishing for ideas because I've been going my set directions, which are like dragons and fucking skulls, and, you know. Here, apparently
Right.
lately it was a skull with an eyeball because we talked about that, and I painted one, and then I did fucking 24 other ones, you know. Which I don't know why I got stuck on that, but I guess it was just after that conversation, you know. But like, there's certain defaults, and so when I come to you, because you'll throw something out there that's like completely fucking left field, that's on something that you've been looking at,
Sure.
you know, and so it pushes me in a different direction because I'm like, oh fuck, I didn't consider that, and our tastes are similar enough that I can go, I know what you're thinking when you're like, you know, I was thinking about this little fucking thing, or I saw this tattoo that so and so did that, like, I like that idea, but what if you did it this way?
Yeah.
You know, and so
I get very excited when you're like, yeah, that might work. I'm like, oh shit, he gonna paint the shit I just said.
and it's fun. It's fun. It's that fun back and forth. You know, I enjoy it. I enjoy the craft of it. I enjoy preparing stuff. I like, you know, fucking grinding paint or grinding sumi or mixing something for one specific thing, you know, like absolutely anything. It's like, you know, mixing pigment and building needles before doing a tattoo that you want to specifically use those things for.
Right.
Like that's fucking cool. I love all of that.
Yeah.
You know?
And like one thing I love about watching what you do is like you're like crazy prolific with everything, but it's also such a wide variety of like different materials and mediums and all this stuff.
It's
that
so interesting.
Like it seems like it constantly leapfrogs from like, oh, now he's like ballpoint on handkerchief, and then now it's like this, like, you know, like on craft paper with just white crayon or something, and it just like keeps morphing and morphing.
It's always so much fun because I feel like it makes my brain work better if I experiment more, and there's so many things that I'm interested in, and I see something that somebody does, and I'm like, that looks like so much fucking fun. That looks so cool. I've never tried that. I've never tried rice paper.
Well, you got him on the rice paper heavy. He went through.
Fucking love that stuff. I've got some that I'm just itching to fucking get a chance to have my shit put together so I could use.
When Tom was in here earlier, he was like standing in that corner talking to me. And he goes, "Wait a minute, is that another Connor?" And I go, "Yeah." And he goes, "Well, look at her tits, man. There's nothing he can't do." He's like, that doesn't look like his stuff. And I'm like, yeah, it does. Look at her. Like, his girls and his skulls are his, and they're always reminiscent of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, you flip flop all them styles.
I love it. Well, that's the thing. I love it all. It's awesome.
You just passed 30. Was it 30 years?
30. Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
30 years for the big dog.
That ain't shit. That ain't shit compared to Mr. Hoyer over there.
That's a long time.
Or we were talking about fucking Richie Montgomery. Goddamn, he's over 50.
I know. He's got to be
over 50 years. He's been tattooing.
50 years of tattooing.
So you're in between. Do you know the year you're at?
I'm at 37 years. So 2020. If I can keep tattooing until 2028, I'll hit 40.
Hell
years
yeah.
of tattooing.
If you keep it, you'll be fine.
Yeah.
You'll be tattooing in 2020.
Yeah. Or we'll
If
all be.
Hobby closes the shop, he's coming in here. Man, that's the thing, man.
Fuck yeah, it's a thing.
That's the thing. 40 years is fucking serious.
I mean, of doing anything, dude. Of doing absolutely anything.
And most folks who did something else, they quit after 20, 25 years.
Mm-hmm.
They go, oh, well, here's my opportunity to walk away from that. But
well, if you got a square gig, 30 years, you're done. You know, that's your retirement.
But
You're getting pension.
Yeah, you're getting that age, and you get pension, and they give you a watch, and you're done.
if you're lucky, you get a watch. But it's also not like an obsession. You know, you two guys in particular, I know you well enough. Like you guys are endlessly coming up with the next thing to do, and you can't do that in an office setting or in a there are creative positions in corporate world, don't get me wrong, but not where you can draw a fucking tiger body with a fucking Kuan Yin head and a dragon tail and go, hey everybody, look what I did.
Right.
And everybody go, oh fuck. You can't do that in any corporate setting.
Yeah.
And you can do that, and it's something. It's just different.
Timothy's fucking tattoo Coltrane. He'll take you for a journey.
Yeah.
And it's all of us weirdos that are along for the ride, man. However weird you want to get, we're right there with you.
I think
see it.
I think maybe that's part of the reason why so many tattooers have a background in punk rock and hardcore and stuff, is because punk rock taught you you don't have to follow the leader. You can be your own person, and you don't have to conform to society and all that stuff. And so many people that saw older folks go to work in jobs they hated, and just to survive and scratch out some kind of existence, and then follow the blueprint, and have a family and not ever be happy or ever get to do what they wanted to do in life. They had to do it on the weekends, maybe for a little bit for a hobby. And there's so many people that are like, I don't want to do that. It's like,
fuck that.
That feels like I can't. That would suffocate me. And I think a lot of people kind of carried that attitude that came with that music, and the feeling of that, and saw tattooing and thought, okay, well, this is something that I can do that you can make a living on, but you have so much freedom to be yourself and to express yourself and to have a good time and be in charge of your life, really, in a lot of ways that you don't have if you're working for it's like some big corporation that writes you up if you're 5 minutes late to work or whatever.
Yeah, fuck that. You're able to embrace the weirdness. You can be as weird as you wish.
Yeah.
And like Andrew said, there's probably some people that are like, oh fuck, that's just weird enough for me.
Right.
I'm into that. I don't want to embrace that.
I always also liked, and the same thing with tattooing and punk rock and skateboard stuff, that kind of links all of us in some way, shape, or form.
Sure.
But it was always inclusive instead of exclusive.
Right.
Like, you don't fucking fit in anywhere else in the world? Oh, well, you dig this shit? You're with us.
You're right
You know
here.
what I mean?
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
right here. You got somebody that gives a fuck about you, you know?
Yeah.
Even if you're not exactly like us.
Or
Does
yeah,
not matter.
doesn't
Right,
matter a
right,
bit.
right.
Like, I don't give a fuck about any of that stuff,
Yeah.
you know? Like, if you're into tattoos, cool, you know?
It
If
makes
you-
me think of like when I first started hanging around with you guys, and we would be listening to music, and it was before there was like micro genres of anything. So like Andy and Troy and the guys I was around called Avail, the Misfits, the Subhumans, the Dropkick Murphys, H2O, Sick of It All. It was all punk rock. Everybody just called it punk rock.
Yeah.
Eventually, hardcore separated itself a little bit and became a different thing. But there was a
Right.
time where it's just like that was just punk rock music, and it was everybody. You know, the Misfits could open for Bad Religion, and that's not weird.
Mhm.
It's just not weird,
Right.
Because the people that listen to it at all because it's not on the radio.
Yeah.
You know, and that's like kind of how I see tattooing a little bit.
Definitely. Well, it's big enough for everybody, right?
Absolutely.
And that's the
Right.
thing with punk rock. Like, it could be the Romantics, which are all super clean and crispy, you know, or it could be, you know, Anal Cunt, you know?
Right,
And it
right.
all kind of fits in there
Right.
somewhere, you
Yeah.
know what I mean? It
Yeah.
could be whatever.
And I mean, tattooing, there's a lot of issues nowadays, but like when I was working in a street shop, it was like anybody's welcome. We had totally straight-laced normal
Just don't
people,
don't ask.
and we had, eccentric folks, and we had really eccentric folks and freaks, and just like anybody. We don't,
Yeah.
nobody cared. And now, there's definitely a lot of tattoo shops that kind of predicate their operation on, well, we're inclusive, you have a safe space here and
Right.
this and that, and like, I don't know, to
That's
me, like
redundant to us.
that wasn't new, because and also like, my first boss was just like, they all got money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I mean, it's
for
like,
sure.
you don't turn to anybody. It's a business.
Absolutely.
It's a business at the end of the day.
And so the idea of they all got money is not based in we're accepting of everybody, but it's also exactly the same thing.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, we're not excluding anybody for any petty reason.
Right.
And like I said, I think the idea of a tattoo safe space is somewhat redundant because it's always been a place where it just didn't fucking matter if you were a dude with a dress, or if you had fucking blue hair, or if you were any of the things that
Right.
that I wasn't. It didn't fucking matter.
Yeah.
Like, our clients looked like everybody,
Right.
and that's the shit.
And I mean, they're all
It never
just,
changed
they're
for
just
the old-
people
you
at the
know.
end of the day. I mean,
Fucking
yeah.
right. And
And
come on.
Right,
Guarantee
exactly.
We got something in common.
Exactly.
Yeah,
And there's so many
that's it.
times that you would look at somebody and get a first impression, and then they sit down and you talk to them for a little bit, and they're completely different
Oh,
than
man.
what your first impression was
Dude,
like. I mean, sometimes your first impression is right on the money,
Sure.
but yeah,
But that
I mean,
happens in line with the bank too.
I had to,
Right,
break,
right,
I had to
right.
break myself
Yeah.
with that shit really bad. I had fallen into years and years and years ago. I had kind of fallen into like somebody's walking in the door and I'm already deciding what they want, what they're gonna ask, what they're gonna be like,
Sure.
you know, and basically kind of shutting them off into like trying to pigeonhole them into one thing that I thought they were going to be just based on appearance alone, you know. And the more I've let that go and let somebody determine who they really are to me, they surprise me constantly, dude. Like, so much cooler than I anticipated. And I've got so many clients that, like, outwardly super square looking, look extra normal. As soon as you start talking to them, you're like, holy shit, this motherfucker's awesome. You know?
Yeah.
And then
absolutely.
I can't count how many times I've had that happen. Or you think somebody's going to be a certain way, and they're way cooler than you realized. You know?
Right. Yeah. And that's one of the amazing things about tattooing as a profession is it's such a personal, like it's the most personal art form there is, in my opinion.
Definitely.
And I'm sure you've experienced this as much as I have. You have to be so many different things to be a tattooer, and part of it is you have to be part therapist.
Oh yeah.
I'm sure that people have told me things they've probably never told anybody else.
Yeah.
Because there's this kind of built-in trust that they have to have in you to sit down in the chair in the first place.
Just saying, hey, you're the guy to do this for me. They're all
Right,
involved.
right. And they're getting something permanent that's painful from you.
Yeah.
So just to sit down, they already have to be past that hurdle.
Yeah.
So they just kind of trust you sometimes. People just kind of trust you, and they'll tell you stuff, and it's like it's really, really cool. It's
They know
cool to
it's
get
gonna
to know
hurt.
people
They'll
like
trust
that.
that you won't hurt them too bad.
Right.
Like, you won't go
Right.
this. I can trust this guy enough. It's gonna hurt me, but it's not. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, absolutely, man.
No lies, just bullshit.